What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the new Jedi Order Vector Prime. Now, I really wasn't a fan of the Star Wars franchise when I was a kid. I did see the movies back in the day, and it wasn't until the Phantom Menace dropped that I actually just found my love for the Star Wars franchise. The lore, the characters, the world building, the hundreds of stories within the galaxy itself just drew me in. But before we continue, guys, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we have going on this channel. And remember, we put up videos every weekend, so stay tuned for those bad boys. I first picked up this book when I was in school and I was doing Accelerator Reader, and I ended up saying, hey, Vector Prime, let me check it out. And I actually really enjoyed this book. Now, this wasn't the only Star Wars book I had read at the time. I ended up enjoying The Approaching Storm as well as Darth Maul's Shadowhunter. And those three books actually got me to the literary side of Star Wars. Released in 1999 by author R.A. Salvatore, Vector Prime picks up 21 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. The New Republic is struggling to maintain peace in the galaxy. I sure would hate to stay there. It seems like they always got something going on. While our heroes struggle to keep the peace, a new threat emerges. The Yuuzhan Vong, a race of warlike aliens. No, the Yuuzhan Vong. We're not talking about Satan, from outside the galaxy. The Vong come with the single intent of extragalactic domination, and with the galaxy fractured, our heroes clearly have their work cut out for them. I like that this isn't the typical Star Wars story. Usually when we think Star Wars, we think Jedi versus Sith, the Empire versus the Rebels, and that does lead to some of the more popular stories and characters. But this was definitely something refreshing. Think about reading a shit ton of Batman comics where Batman is sitting here fighting the Joker and the likes of Scarecrow, as well as like Killer Croc, and all of a sudden fucking Darkseid shows up. The story itself has complexity, there's a lot going on, and it's not boring. Each storyline brings a different aspect to the universe while also allowing characters to be fleshed out. One of my personal favorites follows Leia, her daughter Jaina, and her sister-in-law Mara Jade, who are trying to stop a conflict building between two planets. It's a slow build, but the tension grows and the story keeps you on edge. And let's talk about that ending, because that ending was straight up epic. I have to say, I actually really enjoyed the characters. Now, before this book, I actually watched the movies, so I know the Trinity from the movies. My bad, wrong Trinity. Not that Trinity either. Luke, Leia, and Han, of course. Also with the main characters is C-3PO, R2-D2, Lando, and even Chewbacca. I grew up with these characters, and it surprised me that the new characters were just as interesting and engaging to read about. Leia and Han's children, Jaina, Jason, and Anakin, are perhaps one of the best aspects of the book. I like how similar they are to Luke, Leia, and Han, while also appreciating the differences. They had a good, intelligent conversations, were mature despite being young adults, liked their relationships among each other. They seemed like very capable characters. They weren't stupid, they were actually smart. They had really good ambitions and really good insights. They were great additions to the Star Wars cast. My favorite character, however, was Mara Jade, Luke's wife. I liked that she was strong. I liked the differences that she had with Leia, but also appreciating the respect that these two characters have for each other. She's actually pretty smart, she's capable, she's a really cool backstory. I really did enjoy the scenes between Luke and Mara. I like the family dynamic of Leia, Han, and their children. Just the core cast is great as always. I also really enjoyed many of the supporting cast as well. My favorite being Danny Q, an astrophysicist who gets caught up in this conflict. I thought she was a really interesting character, especially her role with this oncoming force that's coming. I'm just saying, if they decide they want to make this a movie, I'm casting Vanessa Kirby as Danny. The Yuuzhan Vong are just freaking awesome. They have easily become some of my favorite villains in literature, as well as the Star Wars mythology. In fact, they've become some of my favorite alien races next to symbiotes, Kryptonians, Saiyans, and Viltrumites. I really like the culture, I really like the religion, I like their use of living organisms instead of technology, even their plans to invade showing complexity and intelligence. I don't think Salvatore could have picked a better antagonistic force. Two of the Vong, Nam Anor and Yomenkar, stand out and are some of the best villains. I really enjoy Salvatore's writing style and vision for the lore. He does a good job of bringing what makes Star Wars great, keeping it engaging, and showing overall growth to the story and characters. There is a lot of respect there, and I have to give the man 2 thumbs up for that. The writing is complex, and that complexity makes the story feel layered. He does a good job of making the characters feel like themselves, but matured, more refined. That refinement makes for some really moving scenes and thoughtful conversations. The pacing is good, and it works as the mystery is gradually being uncovered. I just reviewed Witchling, and one of my biggest complaints of the story is how fast the villain is revealed. Here, the story takes its time, and the characters have to learn about the invasion as the story progresses and end up finding out about it when it's almost too late. I like the dialogue and how it shows different perspectives of the Jedi Council's role in the galaxy through our main characters. Conversations that you see with Leia and Mara, Luke and Han, Luke and Jason, Anakin and Jason. Things like that make it very interesting to just see the conversation from all different sides. Is the Jedi Council truly needed in the universe to maintain peace? The cultural traits and weaponry of the Vong are cleverly written and well thought out. As you learn about their religion, their hierarchy, their culture, you learn about why they're invaded, how they view other species, their gods, how they even treat themselves. One of the coolest things they have is the Yogade's core, which uses gravity to pull a moon and a planet into a collision. That was one of the most intense scenes in the book, and Salvatore even gets bold by killing off one of the main characters. I ain't mad at him. If you've seen my videos, you know one of my biggest complaints is sometimes the heroes just make it through thick and thin, through everything, and it just kind of kills off the tension. I want to see a character get killed off. In the end, Vector Prime is one of my favorite Star Wars books. There were small issues with some of the writing decisions, but it was barely a blip on the radar. I had an exceptional time with this book to the point it hit my best of all time list. I like the story, the writing, the conversations, the characters, exploring more of the universe, and of course, the main antagonist. I'm going to give Vector Prime 5 out of 5. I definitely can't wait to read the other books in this trilogy. I hear it's awesome. Anyway, guys, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts on Vector Prime. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Should they have made this a movie? I'm also very curious, who would you cast to play Mara Jade? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And we'll see you guys next weekend.